Alrighty, hello and welcome to Trema. This is going to be one of many different ways that you can actually do this fight, but it's the way I've done the fight. The setup is fairly simple. You're going to want Yuna and Pain to be able to get break damage limit. You can use dress spheres. Well, I think you can only... No, not dress spheres, garment grids. Always mix those up. You can only use garment grids for that. But I have them set up for break damage limit via a garment grid, which name I've forgotten. Again, description, details if you want, or you just watch the video, whatever. And one person for healing, which in this case is Riku, because she does not have very good offensive skills with her mascot, compared to Yuna and Riku, or Yuna and Pain anyway. Just she has some, just not nearly as good. So Riku's your healer. Pain and Yuna, when possible, are your damage dealers. Now, I chose the easier method because this is my first clear of this place. If you've cleared it before, I don't know why you need help, but you should have an Iron Duke, which makes the fight much, much easier. If this is your first clear, it's very unlikely you have items like that, especially if you're going for 100% in one run style. That means you won't have a lot of useful items that you could get otherwise that are barred on 100% in one run. Yay! So for Yuna, you want to max out her strength, despite her mascot technically being a magic-focused mascot. Her Moogle Beam is based on strength, which just doesn't make any sense whatsoever, but it is. So you want to maximize her strength. So whatever your highest strength and defense item, which in my case is a champion belt, whatever your highest is, give it to her. For Pain, despite the rest of her mascot sphere being strength-based, her special attack, Cackling Gun, which is very hard to pronounce, is based on her magic stat. So you want to maximize her magic and magic defense. The reason you don't just maximize just magic is because you can fit magic and magic defense in one item slot and still get pretty good stats. And that'll allow you to survive some attacks a little bit easier. And for Riku, because she's healing and won't be doing any damage, her offensive stats are irrelevant. So slap her on the Valiant Luster grid. I think it's Valiant Luster. That increases defense and magic defense every node you go through, I think. Whatever, I think it's Valiant Luster. Slap her on that and give her an Oath Veil and Veil, not Veil. Oath Veil and whatever the other, Crystal Gloves, that's what they are. To give her maxed defense and magic defense. She will have 255 of each if you're level 99. Actually, if you're level 90 plus, I think she'll max out. I'm not sure exactly. Either way, that'll allow Riku to survive everything, basically, with very, very small amounts of damage taken.
So what is that supposed to be?
And then, for the first part of this, you might notice I actually bribe the boss. That's because, technically, he's a lot harder to deal with than Trema is. Trema hits pretty hard and pretty quick, but dealing with Paragon right before Trema, you can do it, and in fact it's not much different from dealing with Trema in this kind of setup. But it just makes the Trema fight a little bit harder, especially at the initial setup. Plus it takes a long time, so if you have 800,000 gil, which you should have, if you don't have it, you can just do some monster arena stuff and you'll very rapidly get 800,000 gil very easily, especially if you're running Lady Luck. With double gil, right? I think you get double gil. Times 3! So, bribe Paragon. I recommend that on your first playthrough. If it's future playthroughs, fight Paragon. It's not that hard, and you should definitely be strong enough to deal with it on future playthroughs. But once you bribe him, it dumps you right into the Trema fight. And the whole premise of the Trema fight is, as soon as possible, get everyone through the garment grids nodes. And you might notice the transformations for dress spheres are happening. I have it turned off in the settings, so there should be no transformations. You'll notice a couple of them don't actually trigger the cutscene. It's a weird bug. I don't know if it's fixed. I'm still running the retail, original release 1.0 version of the HD game. I don't know if this existed in the international version or even the base version of the game as well, but it's a bit of a bug, so I apologize having to watch all the dress sphere changes. but there's not really a whole lot I can do about it because I have it set to off and it's supposed to be off, but it doesn't always function properly. But anyway, at the very start of the fight, get everyone through the garment grid changes as quickly as you can. Generally, you should be able to get all of them done without Trema getting a turn. He might get one turn in the middle of it, but if you're quick enough, it shouldn't matter, because while the sphere change is happening, no one can charge an ATB, and the sphere grid change, dress sphere change, god dang it, doesn't actually require an ATB charge, so they can happen back to back constantly, and Trema shouldn't get a turn. Once that's out of the way, you can go ahead and double HP. It's not required, but I do recommend it. That'll keep Yuna and Pain, I'm having difficulties with words today, that'll keep Yuna and Pain from dying quite so frequently, particularly Pain, and I'll explain why in a bit. But that'll keep them from dying quite so frequently, and then immediately start pumping out Moogle Beam and Cackling Gun hits. At this point, with the equipment I have and with the equipment you likely have at this point, Yuna should be doing about 40k damage per hit, with break damage limit obviously, and Pain should be doing about 20k or something. She does much less damage than Yuna does, which is a kind of terrible side effect, but hey, whatever. We have to deal with it. I don't actually know why she does less damage. I'm not sure. Either way, they should be doing about that much damage. Trema has 1,000,000 HP, so it'll take a while. And Riku will be on heal duty, so she'll be throwing out, well, realistically you would be throwing out Mega Potions and Mega Elixirs and Elixirs and Ethers and stuff like that. I was not fully prepared for this, so I went the somewhat more lazy method of throwing out X Potions and Ethers, and then using Yuna's MP Restore ability to give MP back. The other method, which I also was not prepared for, of keeping your people up to, you know, up to scratch on dealing damage, is to actually use Twin Stars, or what's the other one? Triple Star? Twin Star or something star, whatever the heck the other item is. They give you Spell Spring, which means 0 MP use for spells. So even after you get hit by Trema's MP drain, which will drain all of your MP every time, I'm pretty sure, you can still cast spells. That'll allow you to do a lot more damage over time because you'll have to take turns to use Yuna's MP Restore. I didn't have those, or at least I don't think I had those. So I went with the more traditional method of just burning MP and then restoring it and burning it, rinse and repeat. The fight itself with this setup is not particularly hard. There's a few things you'll need to watch out for, one of which is the fact that Pain has basically no defense, considering Trema has maxed strength and magic defense and whatever. He has a lot of max stats. So Pain, I think, has like 130 defense or something along those lines. So every punch, more or less, that she takes from Trema is going to do anywhere from, I think, 700 to 1,000 damage, and he hits multiple times in rapid succession. So you'll need to keep an eye on Pain's health. Yuna you don't need to worry about so much because she has really high defense, and Riku has max defense, or should have max defense, and magic defense, so you shouldn't need to heal her very much. The other things you need to take note of are, and I'm going to mention these first for people who came from the original Japanese or North American releases, non-international releases basically. The strategies that we'd use down here no longer really work. You can't use catnip, at least not in the way that people normally used catnip. Because auto berserk, auto slow, you can't use gunners with catnip anymore, effectively. You can use thieves with catnip and still, you know, it's alright, it's not great though. The other thing, Trema and Paragon and a lot of other bosses have Spell Spring. You can drain their MP, but it'll do absolutely nothing because they don't use MP. They still have the stat hasn't changed, they just have Spell Spring. So you can no longer do that to avoid a bunch of attacks that Trema would use, or Paragon. So just bear that in mind. Don't even bother draining their MP, it won't do anything. The other really important thing to keep in mind, Meteor is no longer a physical attack. You cannot abuse that anymore. You cannot reduce Meteor's damage to 1, and you need Shell to reduce damage rather than protect. So just bear that in mind. It's going to do a lot of damage, and it's going to hit like a truck a lot of times to everyone in your party. Having said that, you should fairly easily be able to survive Meteor. Especially if you've gone the double HP route, you should pretty well survive that. Even though it's percentage based, the additional HP means you have a bit of a buffer from Trema's attacks to when he does Meteor. He does Meteor at very specific times, and I have the numbers somewhere. Let me actually try and find that if I can. Hopefully I can. Oh, what did I do with the numbers? God dang it. Oh, here we go. He will use Meteor at 50% health, so these are the only times he will actually use Meteor. He'll use Meteor at 50% health, so you can kind of try and gauge that by, you know, counting how much damage you've done, or just soak it like I do. He uses it again at 25% health, and then at 13.5%, 12.5%, I can't count, 12.5% health, he'll use Ultima. And Ultima will more than likely kill Yuna, because she has no magic defense. There's basically nothing you can do about that unless she's above 10k health, because Trema doesn't have break damage limit for whatever reason. Probably so he doesn't murder everyone in the party with Ultima. So that'll do 10k. It'll do basically nothing to Riku, and it'll do something like 2k or something like that to Pain, so nothing really to worry about. Riku can take a hit in the face and don't even care, so she's fine. But bear that in mind, Yuna will die, more than likely. It's not the end of the world, just throw a Phoenix down, get an X potion on her, she's back up and good to go, and you can reduce the little bit of health that he has left. About, 100,000 health, shouldn't take too long. So that's the only time he uses Meteor. It is not the only time he uses Ultima. I believe after he uses Ultima the first time, he will continue using Ultima. However, because he doesn't have much health left, it's very rare, very unlikely that you'll actually see another Ultima, but, just bear that in mind. So that's more or less the fight. It's not terribly complicated. You can watch the video, check the description if you need more information. There's not really a whole lot to say, but, it's Trema, whatever. So I don't know how much of this video is left because I'm not paying attention in any way, shape, or form. I may have actually overtalked it, who knows? But that's Trema. When you kill him, you get Iron Duke. Iron Duke is the greatest thing in the world. And I think I show it at the end of the video. I should show it at the end of the video. Either way, it gives crazy amounts to all sorts of stuff, and it's good times and whatnot. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.
Know your place! Hasate kanai, kutamai. The unenlightened shall fall. Release your past and tower above all. Be flung onto the far plane! are the paragon of pastlessness.
You're wrong. Although I've wished to be stronger, and I've wanted to change, I realize that losing my past would mean losing myself.
Tell me, High Summoner Yuna, where is the loss in that?